So, back again. So, what I wanted to talk about today was why the narcissist feels like they need to drive wedges in between you and your family members, your friends, any other type of people that could be a support network for you. My theory is why they do this is when they first get with you, they see a lot of things in your personality that they really like. And they want those things to become your personality or become their personality. So once they've absorbed as much as they figure they can absorb out of your personality, they start trying to make sure there's nowhere you can go. Like you can't leave the relationship, or you can't leave them or make them feel vulnerable in some way. So they start trying to pin you against your children, against your family members, your friends that you have. And it really sucks because a lot of times when this happens, they go about it in an undetectable manner. They can be standing off here in the corner, like just watching, as the bombs drop from things that they created or things that they started, or they could just plant this little seed of doubt in your mind. I've seen it, experienced it. I even knew that this was going to happen and knew that he was trying to put it into my head. And it's like being in an out-of-body experience, watching something go down, and you almost like you want to scream no, but it just happens. And even your own behavior, you're like, I don't do this, why are you doing this? And then you just do it. And whether that's you having a lack of self-control, which that probably has something to do with it, yes, but when you had somebody screw with your head for so long, I mean, you're a person that you don't recognize once you get into these relationships for long enough. You become someone you're like, I don't even know who the hell I am right now. But anyways, the reason they do that, they want to make sure that they have control over it. Basically everything boils down to control, but they want to make sure that you have less and less support, less and less positive reinforcement, less and less of somebody who could validate you, less and less of an opportunity for you to catch on to their crap. And it's really hard. Like with my ex, he was one of those people who would encourage you. He'd encourage you, oh, go do yoga, go spend time with your friends and your family, go do all these things. Well, when he noticed there was already an issue, maybe there was, instead of being positive, he'd either not say anything, he'd either like agree with me in like a vague way, like, yeah, that's bullshit, or yeah, why the fuck did they do that? Whatever, and then later on, sprinkle that back in, like pull it back out of the bag and like, hey, and I had that happen many times with family members, friends, planting seeds of doubt, which sometimes those seeds of doubt they're valid. They are valid. Maybe they don't mean as much as you are made to think they mean, because you become, when you have somebody do this to you, you just become paranoid. You become hypersensitive to things, hyper aware of everything. You're not in this relaxed state. Like I've had high blood pressure, I think, for the last, I don't even know how long. The breakup it's really increased, but over the last few years, it's been bad. And, and the best part about all of it, them doing that to you, is afterwards, once you're out of it, nobody wants to listen to you and nobody wants to believe you. So it's a hard thing. And to be someone, I was someone that I moved here from Arizona. I didn't know, I didn't have no one except for my person that I was with. Who would I have to turn to? Who would I have to turn to say, they're doing these things? Is it just me, or do you see this as well? There would be no one to turn to. The only people that someone would have to turn to now, thank God, due to, social media, and I usually hate social media, is YouTube. Like that's the only thing that's keeping me going, because like I said, I'm not perfect. Like, somebody watches my video and says, well, I know you. I've seen you do things. Yep, you're right. You have. You have seen me do things. And you want to know what? When I try to tell you about what I really go through, nobody wants to listen. So this is what I'm doing. If you all don't like it, shut the thing off and go elsewhere. Because I want someone to hear my story and know what I'm dealing with and what I'm going through right now, in the middle of it. Right in the middle of it. 4 months no contact. And really, like, I'm in the middle of it. I mean, I understand some YouTubers, they're years down the road and then they start their YouTube channel. Well, I'm trying to start mine now. And I was afraid for a while because I thought, oh my God, look at all the shitty things you have done. Look at all the things you've did. And you know what? I have. But again, I know what I fucking went through. You know what you fucking went through. If there's somebody else that wants to come on here and be like, oh, well, you're just whining and you're just making stuff up, or you're just, okay, you can say whatever you would like, but that will not stop those of us who have went through these things from telling the truth. If you'd like to come on here and air what I've done, gladly. I won't deny any of it as long as it's true. If it's not true, I will not even answer it. But if it's something I did, I will own up to it. Because I'm not perfect. I'm a human being. I'm a mother. I work hard. I struggle. I make mistakes a lot of times to my own detriment. But I know that when I have dealt with someone who is trying to manipulate my brain, confuse me, make me doubt myself, make me feel like a crappy human being just for being a human being and struggling, I know what I dealt with. And to have somebody do that to you over years and years of time, no one deserves that. So we have a right to say what we need to say. If people don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. It's just the way it is. So there was my rant. That's out. Because I'm not going to be quiet. That's just how it works. But anyway, yeah. So, and that's part of it too. You always feel like you have to explain yourself. You have to explain yourself and validate yourself and get validation, because they are trying to make you feel as though something's wrong with you, because they don't want you to look at them and you to realize there's something wrong with them. That same thing, they don't want your family and your friends to realize there's something wrong with them. I mean, we all have our glitches, for sure. But when somebody takes someone else's persona, don't get me wrong, there's energies from other people and there's attributes from other people. We're humans. That's what we do. And that you'd like to, but to try to take that from someone and crush their soul in the meantime and make them feel like they're not good enough because of you choosing somebody else and you running around on them with someone else and you making them feel not good enough. That is wrong. That is wrong. And I'm not saying you dated somebody for a little bit and then you decided, okay, I'm done. I'm over here. I'm it. And now everybody's calling you a narcissist. That's not what's happening here. That's not what is being said. When you have had this pattern for the last however decades, when you've had this pattern over decades, and most of them continue the pattern over and over and over and over and over and over and over. That's why they say narcissists have a playbook, because you can literally predict pretty much what they're going to do. You're still human and you're probably going to react to whatever way you're going to react, but this is what they're going to do. And you can pretty much predict it. And you'll be surprised by the things that they do, but then if you know their past, you'll be like, I'm not that surprised. Like, yeah, of course. So with the driving wedges in between people, it also is a way to make them look good and make them look caring and make them look like, that family member of yours that you have is, I don't know. They just seem like they're not happy when you're happy. Just things like that. They'll bring that up. And it's like, how do you go to that person, that friend, or the family member? How do you go to that family member and say, were you looking at me as though, you're not happy that I'm happy? How in the hell does somebody go to somebody else and say that to them? You can't have a conversation with somebody that's doesn't make you look like you're the nutcase trying to verify those things that this person over here is saying to you. They're masters at doing those things, at making it so difficult for you to try to navigate all their nonsense that they get away with it. You're not going to go and just, I mean, I am pretty open, and I have just went and just, but they make it very, very difficult for you. And when they're trying to separate you from your group, your tribe, it's frustrating, because your group might see what this person's doing, but you're not going to listen to him. You won't. Like, I was warned many, many times about my ex and the things that he's done in the past, which I knew some of it. But, you always think, they'll never do that to me. They love me. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you don't listen. You won't listen. You won't listen until you see it yourself. You won't listen until you see it yourself so many damn times that it smacks you in the face and takes you out at the knees. And even then, it takes more. It takes a lot more. It takes you never know. You never know what it takes it just to finally snap, because they're all different. Some of them are super violent. Some of them will be so violent to you that you get your ass kicked so bad and you're done. You're just like, I cannot. I have a cousin that are very violent. She's like, I'm done. That's it. She never talked to them. Well, she does now and all that things. It was over a year before she ever spoke to them. They have kids together, so now they're civil and etc. But no, there's no communication unless it's children, and she keeps control of it, and she does very good. She had it way worse than some of us do, for sure. Financially abused, physically abused, mentally abused, emotionally abused, scared all the time, lots of different things like that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to explain myself. I can't. That's part of my thing that I am fighting against. I have to explain myself against every little thing, and I don't need to. But so, anyways, onward to the next thing. It really just sucks, because you sit with this person, and you think that you love this person, and you start to, not everyone, but I had stomach problems, and I had headaches, and I had backaches, and I had trouble sleeping. I had all kinds of stuff going on, and I ignored it. Thinking it's because of your fear of intimacy. It's because of this. It's because of that. And no, it's because someone is trying to screw with your head and you are ignoring it. That's exactly what it is. So, if you felt that in your relationship, in the beginning, in the middle, throughout the whole thing, whatever it is, that your body is trying to tell you that this person you're around, you need to get away from. And yes, you might have these background issues, but really look into how it is you feel. Do you feel good when that person's around? Do you feel happy when they come over? Do you feel because my situation is I was glad when he'd go home, because I can breathe now. I can breathe. But after a few days or a day or overnight, I'm like, I got to talk to him. I need to talk to him, because that's how bonded I was to him. And at one point I had thought I loved him. I was madly in love with him to the point of obsession. And that's not even it's not healthy anything, but you think you love the person. And, they made you feel so loved. You want to be there. You want to make them feel loved. You want to be there for them. And then when they're around, it's they're always looking at stuff everything's a threat. So you start picking up on that. You start looking at everything as a threat. So once they've got that fight or flight, everything's a threat built into you over a certain amount of time, when you have issues with friends, family, your job, whatever it is, instead of them being, like a positive reinforcement saying, I understand that this is whatever way. Because they will be that way in the beginning. They'll be like, oh, I understand. Maybe they didn't mean it or whatever. But no, their true negativity wears off and comes out fairly soon. And they will cause issues. You'll be looking at your friend like they're doing this and they're doing that, and you can't trust them. Slowly but surely, and then you'll be looking at your mom because you got to argue with your mom about something. You got an argument with your brother, and, they'll make a comment about the argument, or they'll make a comment about something else that was said by that family member when you weren't around and they heard it. And, you're so busy trying to figure out what the hell's going on that you're not noticing that this son of a bitch over here is doing doodle-doo-doo-doo, to you, marionette to your brain, and you are losing it because of it. And you're possibly losing your support group. So, but that's what I have to say for tonight. If you liked it, go ahead and hit the like button or subscribe. I'm going to come up with some more stuff to talk about, but it's a real thing. They really do this. They really do try to separate you from the positive people in your life because they're jealous. They're jealous that you can be authentic. They're jealous that you have a support group. They're jealous that you have friends that are true to you. You have friends that are friends and family members that love you. And it's just how it is. Some people just can't be happy for you. But that's not your problem. It's theirs. So thank you. Like and subscribe.